In a world created by Mike Dell, I guess you would call it Mike Dell's World.
And good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Mike, and this is Mike Dell's World for National Podcast Posting Month here in November of 2021, NaPodPoMo. And this is officially, November 2nd, but it's episode 367. And according to my little schedule here, this is going to be an episode about Traverse City. And specifically today, I want to talk about snow. Everybody likes to talk about snow when it comes to Traverse City. You always like to hear me complain about snow, and it's a big deal around here. I got my tractor is almost ready for the snow. I installed the plow blade on it, got the tires all pumped up and ready to go, and one of them was slow leaking. Got that fixed, and got the tire chains ready to go, and that's the last little bit I have to do is put the tire chains on it and make sure the oil's good. And I got to get the snowblower out of the shed, and the back shed in the garage there, and get that all tuned up, started up, and make sure that's running, and we'll be ready for snow. And this year I have a 4-wheel drive, so that'll even be more fun. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, a lot of guys that get 4-wheel drives, and I've had 4-wheel drives on and off my whole life. We've always had at least one in the family, and now it's my daily driver. But there's always guys that use the 4-wheel drive to get themselves further into the ditch. Always laugh when I was living out in Lake Ann. I had a Mazda 4-wheel drive, and be a real crappy day, and I'd be driving home in the morning because I work night shift. I'd drive home in the morning, and it was a 20-mile drive, and if it was snowy, if it snowed overnight or whatever, it might be a little treacherous, but not terrible. But I always used to get a kick out of people that were in a bigger hurry than I was. See, I was going home. They were going to work. But they're in a bigger hurry than I am, and they'd pass me. Their big 4-wheel drives, and I'd have my little 4-wheel drive, but I'm going 35 miles an hour because I realize that the 4-wheel drives don't generally stop any better than the 2-wheel drives or whatever. And it's more about tires than it is anything. But anyway, they'd blow past me, and then a mile down the road, I'd see them in the ditch and just make sure they were okay, and then wave and smile as I drove by slowly. And I would get to where I was going before they got to where they were going. Typical. And, this year we haven't had any snow yet. And I would say most years we get snow in October. According to the averages, 0.5 days of every year. So about one day every other year we get snow in October. Okay, it wasn't as much as I thought, but I remember when I was a kid on Halloween, having snow on the ground for Halloween. So, but I guess this year we didn't. I don't think we've even had a flake in the air that I've seen anyway, that I've witnessed. Now, I know, and I don't have anything to back this up, but I know for a fact that it has snowed in every single month of the year except June or July. I don't know. Maybe it's both. But I know there's been measurable snow in May. There's been measurable snow in August and September. Very rare in August and September, of course, but according to this chart that I'm looking at here, just on an average year, we'll start, since this is November, we're going to have 5.8 days of November that we're going to get measurable snowfall. That's the average, and the average number of inches for the month of November is 9 in Traverse City. That is 22.9 centimeters for those of you across the dotted line. And then in December, it kicks up to 14.3 days of snow in December that is measurable. That's, like I said, these are all on average, and with an average of 26.7 inches or 67.8 centimeters. And then in January, we get 17 days. So that's the snowiest month. 17 days in January on average with 33.2 inches or 84.3 centimeters. February kicks back down to about 11 days out of February, 11.2. And with 18.9 inches. Yeah, usually mid-February sometime or maybe toward the end of February, we usually get the big thaw. And it thaws right down to grass again. And then we get a couple blasts, in March. And maybe sometime in April we'll get, a little blast of snow. But as far as a heavy snowpack, it usually comes on sometime in November and leaves sometime in, February or early March. I remember one year, a buddy of mine used to snowbird to Arizona. And so he'd leave sometime in November and come back sometime in April. And I would borrow his tractor for the winter. So I'd go over there just before he left, and I'd drive the tractor over to my house in Lake Ann. Keep an eye on the tractor. Plus I get to use it a little bit to plow my driveway and all that, and worked out pretty nice. And then in the spring, I'd drive it back out there before he got home from Arizona. And one year, and it was like April 15th, around tax day, and there was still a huge snowbank in front of his house. So I went over there with a tractor, and my dad and I broke through the snowbank and got it so he could get off the road instead of having to park on the road, because sometimes the snow's built up, and then other years there's nothing in April. So it's crazy. But just looking at this website with records for Traverse City, the snowiest winter on record, and this is records as far as from the 30s, I guess. 30s up until recent, but 136.9 inches fell in the 84 to 85 winter. It's the year I graduated high school, although it was 83-84 winter that would have been that. And ironically, that one I think was on one of the least amount of snow. The least amount of snow in a year was 1936 and 37 with only 31.3 inches. But and then in here it has 83 to 84, it had 44 inches or 41.4 inches. So I knew the year before, the heaviest was the lightest. And I remember that one because on Christmas Day, I was driving around with my windows down. It was like 60 degrees. So that doesn't happen very often, that's for sure, around here. But lots of information. I'll have a link to this page. Currentresults.com. So I don't know where they get their information, I guess from Weather Service. But Traverse City's first snowfall of the winter usually arrives in October or November. Yeah, that's going like that. Season's last snowfall typically happens in April, and in rare years in May. Yeah, I remember in May having snow. I also remember having 80 degrees and sunny in March. So it's weird. So snowstorms. How many snowstorms does Traverse City get in a year? And let's see here. It says snowstorms of over 5 inches a day occur 3 or 4 times a year. Major blizzards that dump 10 inches or more in one day don't happen every year. And that's true. And I'd say probably once every 2 or 3 years we'll get something like that. Interesting how much snow normally accumulates. Yeah, see. But anyway, there's lots of information about snow and all that. And like I said, I'm pretty ready here. Got the tractor with the plow blade on it. I do have a snowblower attachment for it, but I find that the plow blade works better. And if I need a snowblower, I've got the walk-behind one, which is just easier to deal with. So I think that combination works well. What I do is, I don't let it build up. like I used to. I used to let it get real deep before I'd go out and plow. Well, this time I'm not. I'm going to, if I have to go out 2 or 3 times a day for half an hour at a time, I'll do that and, keep up with it. We got a guy around the corner here that is obsessive about his driveway. He's got a short driveway, maybe 40 feet long, 10 feet wide probably, that he keeps shoveled, but he shovels it. But when it's snowing, he's out there shoveling. He's back and forth. Then he'll go in the house for a half an hour and he'll come back out and do it again. And, he's got a concrete driveway, and the concrete, as soon as it quits snowing, concrete's just wet or, whatever. It never builds up on there because he's always out there scraping it. But, he's a retired guy, and what the heck, something to do. So anyway, hopefully that was somewhat informative. And again, I'm doing the NAPOD POMO, the National Podcast Posting Month here for November. I'm also doing No Shave November. Also, my boss, Todd, my coworker, our CEO, Todd, he's doing it too. So that'll be interesting because he shaves his head. I wonder if he'll not shave his head or if he's just for the face. I don't know. And he was real happy because Michigan State beat Michigan this last weekend, and he's a State fan. I'm a Michigan fan. Bah humbug. Oh, well, stuff happens. At least somebody will beat Ohio State. That's my hope. And if it's Sparty, that's fine. All right, everybody, have a good day. We'll catch you tomorrow. And what was it that I'm going to do tomorrow? Oh, hey, got a good one. We'll talk about when it's time to send a car to the junkyard. So catch me tomorrow.